Hello again, I have a special video for you featuring the Beauty Boutique. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's your girl Curly Hair T here, filming from the full service salon and spa, the Beauty Boutique, located in Queens, New York. Today I get to sit down for an exclusive interview with the successful salon owner herself, who goes by the name Hair Guru Gerdie. With over 15 years of experience in the industry and an advocate for healthy hair care and education, I'm going to be asking her some tough questions and get you the tea on natural hair. Alright, so let's jump right in. What is hair typing?
Hair typing is pretty much what naturalistas use to identify how tight or loose their curl pattern is in their hair. What's most popular is one that was developed by Andre Walker, where he used a number and lettering system.
Once you figure out your hair type, what does that mean? Can somebody with 4C hair do the same style as somebody who has 3C hair? Because I have a lot of friends who say they can't do the same styles I do because their hair is more kinky textured.
I don't think it limits what one can do. That's a matter of preference. It's just to let them know that the end result or what the hair looks like might not look the same as someone else with the same hair style. What is a texturizer? A texturizer is a mild relaxer. Essentially, people will use it to kind of just break up the hair, to loosen the curl pattern, and not necessarily get the hair really straight. But I warn clients, it's really basically a mild relaxer. If you leave it in long enough, the hair will be straight.
Are you still considered natural after you've used the texturizer?
I would say because you are using a chemical to alter the natural pattern of your hair, mainly to loosen up a tight curl, it's no longer natural because that's not how your hair is naturally growing out of your head.
Now, does that mean that you're able to still reach for the natural hair care products, or should you be using the products for chemically treated hair?
I would say that you can still use whatever products on it. Most people, they want to use naturally derived products because they just want to minimize the amount of chemical that they're using in their hair. But just because you have a texturizer does not mean you can't use natural products. And just because your hair may be relaxed does not mean you can't use natural products. I've been relaxing hair for years. However, there's some things that I still use. I use essential oils. I use like your pure jojoba oil or argan oil or shea butter. You know, those are all natural, and we use them on chemically processed hair.
Is there such thing as too much water use when it comes to natural hair?
I don't believe there's such a thing as too much water use. I do believe that some people don't know how to properly wet their hair to keep it moisturized. Contrary to popular belief, most of us have grown up with old wives' tales on, you know, my hair, I like it dirty because it grows, you know, or my natural oils make it grow. The more dirty my hair is, the better. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. You can effectively wet the hair, essentially, moisturize it, and the hair can be wet. What I do warn against, however, say for instance you're going in the ocean or you're going in the pool, and because of the harsh salt that's found in the ocean water or the chlorine found in pool water, you don't want to just wet the hair and let it air dry and leave that in the hair all the time. In particular during the summer when people go away, or someone who might swim, that's where it can become problematic. Why? Because the salt and or the chlorine, those are what's harsh on the hair. But water in and of itself, absolutely not. There's also that myth that if you keep your hair wet and you go outside and it's cold outside, you can catch a cold. Yeah. You know, where we all know that a cold is a virus that's internal and has nothing to do with the water that might be left in your hair. And so you just want to be mindful on how you're doing these things. But just having your hair wet all the time is not necessarily a recipe for disaster.
So it doesn't rot the hair. I've heard my friends use that term, like, oh, it's gonna rot your hair after a while. No.
Yeah, what they're saying is that it's not necessarily the water that's rotting the hair. Say for instance someone has an installation, a sewn-in installation, and that hair is braided underneath, and perhaps they even have a net over it. So the hair is wet, it's braided, there's a net. Number one, you're not able to properly cleanse that hair to remove all the impurities or all the buildup that you have on it. So you have that happening. And then the hair is wet and they're letting it air dry. And so what happens is a mixture of the water, and we're not sure if the water could be hard water or the water might have other minerals that aren't really great for the hair to stay in it. So you have that coupled with whatever impurities that they already have in the hair, and that's staying in there. And so that becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and mildew, and some people have that musky smell in their hair. And so
that's what I'm smelling.
Absolutely.
When people walk by and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, ma'am, remove that immediately. So it's not necessarily the water. So say for instance you are one that chooses to cleanse your hair every day, or you wet your hair every day.
That's me.
If you're using proper products to replenish the hair and to restore that oil and the hair is properly cleansed, that's okay.
Is it necessary to switch between protein treatments and a deep moisturizing treatment?
Wonderful question. Healthy hair is a great balance of protein and moisture. And so when determining what treatment I'm going to give a client, it'll normally be based on my consultation with them, and then I'll assess where the hair is. So if the hair is feeling dry and brittle, I'm not going to give them a protein treatment. I'm going to give them a moisturizing treatment.
Okay.
If their hair feels very weak and is breaking, or if it's a type of weak where it doesn't take much for the hair to kind of like fall out, then I'll give them a protein treatment to strengthen it.
All us naturals ever hear is stay away from heat, but are there any pros to using heat?
Most people, because they've had such bad experiences, it's kind of the mentality of throwing the entire baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
But heat is a good source for several different reasons. If you get down to it, what's the point of having heat? The point of heat is to expand, to open up. So when you're using the heat, when you're properly using the heat, you're opening that hair up to receive whatever it is that you're trying to give the hair, be it a protein treatment or a moisturizing treatment. So heat is not necessarily a bad thing.
When is too much heat going to result in damage?
Depends on the person's density, it depends on the thickness, and depends on the type, their hair type. And so if someone has very, very fine hair with not much of a curl and it's pretty much straight, they can't withstand as much heat as someone that might have a lot more denser hair on their head that is a lot tighter. They can withstand more heat. You don't really want to service anybody and you're like past 450, you know, perhaps on, you know, their flat iron or curling iron, whatever they're using.
How often should one be trimming their hair?
It was easier for me to have someone trim their hair with every relaxer service or with a chemical service. However, just, you know, through time and experience, I realized that it's case by case. If someone is heavily manipulating their hair, they're going to tend to need to get a trim more often than someone who pretty much does not have much manipulation, whose hair is not really out, getting any friction. So it's really case by case.
Don't forget to check out your girl, Hair Guru Gerdie. She has her own YouTube channel as well for all things hair. And if you're in the Queens area, come check her out at the Beauty Boutique.
Really, it was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you for having me.